Pay attention to 17-year-old Bianca Devins. At 10 p.m., she is putting on a show for her followers, alive, vibrant, and unsuspecting. The footage shows a girl with her whole life ahead of her, but in reality, she has less than 3 hours to live. Because the driver sitting right next to her isn't taking her home. Beneath his friendly smile, a dangerous rage is simmering. By sunrise, he won't just commit a crime. He will force the entire internet to watch it happen. Bianca Devins was 17 years old when her life was stolen from her in July 2019. She had just graduated from high school and was preparing to attend Mohawk Valley Community College in the fall. Her dream was to study psychology. She wanted to help people who struggled with mental health issues, to provide support and understanding to those who felt lost or alone. Bianca knew what mental health struggles felt like because she had experienced them herself. Throughout her teenage years, she battled depression and anxiety. Like many teenagers dealing with mental health issues, Bianca sought refuge online. The internet offered escape, connection, and community. Within online spaces, particularly on Instagram, Bianca developed what was described as an e-girl aesthetic, a specific dark, edgy style that was popular among certain internet subcultures. She posted photos, interacted with followers, built a community. To those who knew her only through screens, she might have seemed like just another pretty girl with an aesthetic Instagram feed. But to her family, her mother Kim and her sister, Bianca was so much more than her online persona. She was a daughter, a sister, a young woman with dreams of helping others. Bianca met a 21-year-old man named Brandon Clark on Instagram in May 2019. The relationship between Bianca and Clark was complicated, and according to those close to Bianca, unequal. On July 13, 2019, Bianca Devins and Brandon Clark traveled from Utica to Queens, New York, a journey of several hours to attend a concert by singer Nicole Dollanganger. They weren't alone on this trip. Bianca had invited a mutual friend named Alex to join them. The three attended the concert together, and for much of the evening, things seemed fine. They were just young people enjoying music, being part of a crowd, experiencing the energy and excitement of a live performance. But at some point during the concert, something happened that would set in motion a chain of events ending in murder. Bianca and Alex kissed. It might have been a spontaneous moment, a brief connection between two people who were attracted to each other. But Brandon Clark couldn't handle it. In Clark's mind, Bianca belonged to him. The fact that she had every right to kiss whoever she wanted didn't register. Clark saw Bianca kissing another man, and something inside him snapped. Or perhaps more accurately, something dark that had been building finally found its justification. In the early hours of July 14th, after the concert ended, Bianca and Clark began the long drive back to Utica. Alex apparently didn't join them for the return trip, leaving Bianca alone in a car with a man who was seething with jealousy and rage. During the drive, an argument began. Clark confronted Bianca about the kiss. He accused her of using him, a common refrain from men who feel entitled to women's affection and become angry when that affection is given to someone else. Bianca probably tried to explain, probably told Clark again that they weren't exclusive, that she had every right to kiss someone else, that he needed to accept their relationship for what it was. But Clark wasn't interested in boundaries or respect or autonomy. He had decided that Bianca had betrayed him, and he was going to make her pay for it. At some point during the drive, exhausted from the concert and the argument, Bianca fell asleep in the backseat. She probably felt safe enough to sleep. They were driving on a highway, they'd be home soon. She dealt with Clark's jealousy before and survived it. But this time, while Bianca slept, Brandon Clark was preparing to kill her. Before attacking Bianca, Clark did something that revealed the true depths of his narcissism and depravity. He set up a camera on his dashboard. He wanted to record the murder. He wanted to be able to watch it again later, to relive the moment when he took Bianca's life. Clark woke Bianca up. He confronted her one final time, probably repeating his accusations about her using him, about the kiss with Alex. And then, while the camera rolled, he attacked her with a long knife he had hidden by his seat. Clark stabbed Bianca repeatedly, brutally, fatally. The attack was savage and sustained. Bianca fought back, struggled, probably screamed and begged for her life. But she was trapped in a car with a man who had planned her murder, who had researched the best ways to kill, who was determined to make her pay for daring to kiss someone else. When it was over, when 17-year-old Bianca Devins was dead, Brandon Clark didn't call for help. He didn't show remorse or panic. Instead, he began staging the scene he had planned. He drove to a wooded, dead-end road in Utica. He covered Bianca's body with a tarp. He built a bonfire. He played a song called Test Drive by Joji, a song about a one-sided relationship where one person is more invested than the other. He spray-painted a message on the ground, "May you never forget me," a reference to the Japanese manga Pun Pun. And then Brandon Clark did something that would transform this murder from a local tragedy into a national horror. He photographed Bianca's bloodied body and posted the images to social media. The images Brandon Clark posted to Discord, Instagram, and Snapchat were graphic and unmistakable. Bianca's body, her blood, the violence that had been done to her, all of it was on display for the world to see. Clark captioned one image, "I'm sorry, Bianca." On Discord, he posted a photo with the message, "Sorry fuckers, you're going to have to find somebody else to orbit." These weren't just confessions, they were taunts. Clark was showing Bianca's online community that he had killed her, that the girl they had followed and admired was dead, that he had taken her from them. It was a final act of control and ownership, forcing everyone who had known Bianca online to witness what he had done to her. Users who saw the images immediately began reporting them to the platforms and calling law enforcement. People across the country were contacting police in Utica, New York, telling them that someone had posted images of a murdered girl online, that this was happening right now, that they needed to do something immediately. The first emergency calls came in around 7 a.m. on July 14th. Clark himself also called 911. He identified Bianca as the victim and stated his intent to commit suicide. He wanted authorities to know what he'd done, wanted them to find him at the scene he had so carefully staged. When police arrived at the wooded dead-end road, they found exactly what Clark had described. A makeshift crime scene with a body covered by a tarp, a dying bonfire, spray-painted messages, and Brandon Clark holding a knife. As officers approached, Clark engaged in one final theatrical gesture. He slashed his own throat, not deep enough to be fatal, but enough to draw blood enough to create drama. Then, while lying on or near Bianca's tarp-covered body, he took a selfie. He posted this image online with the caption, "Ashes to ashes." Even in the act of being arrested for murder, Clark was performing for an online audience, creating content, trying to control the narrative. Police had to physically disarm Clark before they could arrest him. He was taken for emergency surgery to treat his self-inflicted wounds, and once he was medically cleared, he was charged with second-degree murder. The physical investigation was straightforward. Clark had recorded the murder, posted images of the crime scene, and essentially confessed through his social media posts and 911 call. The evidence against him was overwhelming. But while the physical investigation was proceeding, a different kind of nightmare was unfolding online. The images Clark had posted weren't disappearing. Despite thousands of user reports, despite the obvious violation of every platform's terms of service regarding graphic violence, the photos of Bianca's body remained visible on Instagram, Discord, and other platforms for hours. In some cases, they stayed up for days. Social media algorithms, designed to promote engaging content, began recommending posts containing Bianca's body to users who had never searched for them. People would open Instagram to check their feeds and suddenly see a murdered girl's corpse. The platform's content moderation systems, supposedly designed to catch and remove exactly this kind of content, were failing catastrophically. But the most disturbing twist in this already horrific case was what happened to Bianca's family. Trolls who had seen the crime scene photos didn't just share them, they weaponized them. They found Bianca's mother, Kim, and her sister on social media, and they began sending them the graphic images of Bianca's body, over and over again, via text message, via direct message on Instagram and other platforms, relentlessly, cruelly, intentionally inflicting psychological torture. The family tried reporting the harassment. They tried blocking accounts, but new accounts would pop up. The images had spread so widely across the internet that there was no way to contain them. Every time one platform removed the photos, they would resurface on another. Every time one harasser was blocked, another would appear. It was a nightmare that seemed to have no end. In response to this horror, a grassroots movement emerged online. Social media users who were horrified by what had happened to Bianca and her family launched a campaign called Pink for Bianca. The goal was simple: flood the hashtags associated with Bianca's death with images of flowers, animals, pink clouds, and other peaceful, beautiful things. If people searched for Bianca's name, they would see these images instead of the crime scene photos. It was an attempt to reclaim Bianca's online presence, to bury the violent images under an avalanche of beauty and kindness. The legal proceedings against Brandon Clark moved forward. He initially pleaded not guilty in July 2019. But in February 2020, Clark changed his plea to guilty of second-degree murder. According to his attorneys and the family, this plea deal was reached in part to spare Bianca's family from having to sit through a trial where the murder video would be played in court. The family would have had to watch their daughter and sister being killed, would have had to hear every detail of her final moments, would have had to endure cross-examination and defense arguments about why Clark's actions weren't really murder. By pleading guilty, Clark avoided forcing the family through that additional trauma. But shortly after entering his guilty plea, Clark attempted to withdraw it. He claimed his attorney had pressured him into pleading guilty, that he wanted to go to trial after all. The judge denied this request, determining that Clark's guilty plea had been knowing and voluntary. In March 2021, Brandon Clark was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. During the sentencing hearing, Bianca's family confronted him directly, describing the indescribable pain he had caused them. They talked about losing Bianca not just once, when he murdered her, but over and over again every time they were sent images of her body. They described the ongoing psychological terrorism they continued to suffer. Clark offered an apology, stating he was sorry for what he had done. But the family and the judge largely viewed his words as insincere and self-serving. His actions before, during, and after the murder showed no genuine remorse, only narcissism and a desire for attention and control. For Bianca's family, the legal victory was only part of their fight. They channeled their grief into advocacy, determined that other families wouldn't suffer the same nightmare. Their efforts led to the introduction of Bianca's Law at both federal and state levels. In 2022, New York Governor Kathy Hochul signed a state version of Bianca's Law that criminalized the sharing of personal images of crime victims with the intent to degrade or abuse them. It was a step toward holding people accountable for weaponizing crime scene photos against victims' families. The family also established a scholarship in Bianca's name for students pursuing psychology, fulfilling her dream of helping others with mental health struggles, even though she couldn't do it herself. Brandon Clark is serving 25 years to life for murdering Bianca Devins, but the images he posted continue to circulate online, impossible to fully erase, continuing to traumatize Bianca's family years after her death. The case forced a national conversation about social media platforms' responsibility for violent content and the way the internet can extend a crime's trauma long after the physical act ends. Bianca's Law now protects families in New York from having crime scene photos weaponized against them. The scholarship in Bianca's name helps students pursue psychology careers, fulfilling the dream she never got to achieve. Bianca Devins wanted to help people struggling with mental health issues. Instead, her murder became a case study in digital violence and platform accountability, a legacy she never should have had to leave.